Greetings from Munitions Law Group, Attorney Derek DeBrosse coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. I was just down in Louisville actually not too long ago visiting my law partner Clay Cheshire. You'll see a few videos of him coming up here soon. We have some more that were filmed with Iraq veteran 8888. I know it's been a while since I've shot these. I apologize for that. We're trying a different format, so you didn't see an intro. I apologize for that. We're still working out the kinks on how to integrate those and how to make this a more efficient and more routine service for my followers. Today, let's get into the questions. Today, we have a question from a gentleman who saw me at the United States Concealed Carry Association annual conference in Pittsburgh, and he stated that he found the class I put on, which was entitled "When Not to Carry," when not to pull a firearm. I can kind of teach the inverse of when you're allowed to pull the firearm. What happens to you when you're not supposed to pull the firearm? I taught that class in Pittsburgh, and he found it informative. So we thank you for that. He also asked what handgun I use in the intro. Obviously, those are my very, very old videos that had what appears to be some sort of Desert Eagle firearm. I honestly can't remember what type of firearm it is, the manufacturer. I do remember it was a 357, though. That was in my younger days. But anyhow, let's get to the question. He has a CHO, which is a concealed handgun license in Ohio, and have been carrying his handgun all day long. His hypothetical states, I meet up with friends and decide to have a beer. We will be going to a bar, and I know I cannot carry. How can I legally secure the gun in my vehicle? Until I get home, I have a lockbox in the car. So first off, don't go and have a beer. It's that simple. You don't have to have the beer. There's no requirement for you to have the beer. Drink water. That's the easiest solution to this. It avoids all your problems. Time and time again, when I teach concealed carry courses, I get asked this question. The easiest resolution to this is don't drink alcohol. At least in Ohio, and it would depend on your state, it could be a crime if you drink alcohol and then get in the car, whether or not it's locked in a lockbox or not at that point. The two laws that come to mind, at least in the state of Ohio, are using weapons while intoxicated, talk about the carrying of the firearm while under the influence, and then improper carrying of a firearm in a motor vehicle, which also talks about while you're under the influence of alcohol, having the firearm transported within the vehicle. It doesn't specify that it's locked up or not. The other question we get into, whether or not it's a firearm. Could you remove the firing pin and throw it away and then transport it? There's some case law that indicates that may not have much of an impact, even though it cannot be discharged. But again, it's the type of thing where you can avoid this altogether simply by not drinking. My answer to you is do not drink the alcohol or don't drive home. You can always just lock it in the car if you're willing to risk losing the firearm from theft and simply taking an Uber home. You shouldn't be driving the car anyhow after you have beers. And the question always also becomes is, are you under the influence? The law does specify whether or not you're under the influence regarding these crimes, at least in the state of Ohio. And with regards to these charges, it doesn't really say it's got to be a .08 or what we would designate under the influence for driving with alcohol in our system for DUI purposes. But largely we use that as an analogy. So my recommendation again is don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive with a gun. Drinking and driving for your first offense is a misdemeanor. Drinking and then driving while intoxicated or in the influence is a misdemeanor. And then if you add a firearm into the equation, what used to be a misdemeanor until we passed concealed carry in 2014 or 2004 or 5, it became a felony. So don't risk the felony. I've represented a lot of people with this issue, and it's just not advisable. So I hope that answers your question, and if you have anything else, just drop them in the comments. And as always, be safe out there and carry on.